Classic movie fans, Rick Nige here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Three Stooges, more specifically about their Stooge short entitled Sockabye Baby. So if you don't know, I'm going through every single Stooge short starting with number 1 and continuing all the way through 190. Now this one is number 66 amongst all of these released by Columbia Pictures. Now this one was released November 13th, 1942. Now, if you're a fan of the Three Stooges, don't forget to look at the link in my description. I've cataloged everything from number 1 through now 66. So if you missed any of those, do yourself a favor, watch them. You can watch them in order, look at the playlist, or look up your favorites amongst those. I'm going to get into even the Shemp ones, and so it's going to be really fun to look at those. And yes, I will do the Joe Besser ones as well. So let's begin. This one was actually filmed between April 28th through May 1st, 1942. And as I mentioned, it came out in November of 42. It's the last Stooge short to come out in the 1942 era. Later we get into 1943. I'll continue when I get to the next video. And with those, we'll see why those are a little more scandalous because they're in the era of the World War II. And we'll just talk about it soon. Now, because this was Sockabye Baby, that's the title of this short. That is a parody, of course, of the lullaby Rockabye Baby. Now, I will show these historically at the time that they happened. I will not censor any of the stuff that happened, including this, which is could be seen as offensive by some, maybe not by others. But this is a pretty rare one. It contains a little bit of offensive humor to some people. I'll tell you what it's about. But first, let's talk about the short itself. Now, the story begins with a baby that is left on their doorstep. The Stooges find the baby, and their instincts kick into gear. Unfortunately, they think that the cops believe that they kidnapped the baby, but that's not what they're trying to do. They're just trying to say, hey, we have the baby here. We just want to reunite it with its rightful parent. So they weren't really in trouble. But during the course of the short, they're trying to cook up a meal for the baby and make a diaper for him. And it's just all these crazy funny gags that are hilarious. It's one of the funniest Stooge shorts out there. I would say top 20, top 30. It is just hilarity. Remember, this is 1942, the heightening of World War II, and the Japanese were the enemy of the United States of America. And so it was very popular in movies and in all those types of media to make fun of the enemy. And so I'm not justifying it, I'm not condemning it, I'm just presenting this as it is. Now Curly begins singing a song about Japanese people, and he catches himself and he says, "What am I saying?" And he says, "Poo on the Japanese." At the time, this was seen as being patriotic. If you were to watch this today, they might take that out because they don't want people to be offended. They don't want people to see that. So it might be a snippet or a line that might not be seen. So this is the uncensored version. Now, continuing on, the boys are making a meal for the little baby that they find. They call him Jimmy. The mother in the beginning calls him Junior. But a fun fact, the actor who plays the little boy is actually not a little boy. He's a little girl. So this little girl actress plays a little boy, Jimmy, in the story. And that was actually common back then because, you know, they were trying to just get a readily available child that looked the part. And remember, the quality of film like this wasn't as great as today. And so that would kind of tell maybe that it's a little girl. But it's really hard to actually figure it out if you don't know it. Now, as the Stooges are preparing the meal for little Jimmy, Curly begins singing an a cappella nonsense song with the lyrics imagining he was a Brazilian coffee bean. It's kind of funny, so I'll say it to you here. He says, "I was a boy in Brazil, and I grew on a tree." Or should I say it like Curly? "I was a boy in Brazil, and I grew on a tree." He continues, "When they shook the tree, then I fell down. Then they put me in the bag, and they fastened on a tag, and they shipped me off to New York town." Now, this is a gag where you see the boys inside a truck or a vehicle, and it's covered by a tent. It's their way of blending into the background and not being found out by the cops while the cops are looking for him. It's kind of funny if you think about it. I mean, imagine driving in a car and then there's a tent over the car that's covering it, but you can still drive along. It just reminds you of those old like Bugs Bunny cartoons or the Wile E. Coyote cartoons, Roadrunner. So this gag was actually used in Harold Lloyd's film Professor Beware. It came out in 1938, and so it's a reuse of that gag that the Stooges made their own version of. Now, this short is full of many moments. I counted about 5 in which the Stooges say something and the lines are dubbed over their mouth. Either they're not moving their mouths and you can hear the words coming out, and that is just because during filming they weren't able to catch the actual dialogue, and so they dub it over, they re-record it afterwards, and they put it on top, and you can see their mouths not moving. In one instance, Larry says, "I'm sorry, Mo," after stabbing Mo with the scissors. His mouth isn't actually moving while he says the words. Another one, when Mo says, "Let me see now," his mouth does not match the line. And then when Junior burps the little boy after eating the radish, his mouth is not open. Also, Bud Jamieson, who appears in many Stooge shorts, is in this one. He is an unofficial Stooge in my book, and he hits his head repeatedly with the ironing board, and his yells are dubbed in, and they don't match the movement of his mouth. So those are the examples that I'm talking about. But I will give you this blooper that I absolutely love. Larry is really funny to look at because he breaks character and he laughs a lot during the scenes when he's not supposed to. Check out this scene where Mo shouts the word scissors to Curly, and Larry's on the side, on the left side. Check him out. Check out how he breaks character and he laughs and he's looking down, pretending to look at what they're doing, but he's actually laughing and trying to hold it in, and he's trying not to burst out laughing, but you can still see him giggle, and it's pretty funny that was caught on camera because the scene was great on the right-hand side what the boys are doing, but Larry was there, so they kept it in there. I think it's pretty awesome. Well, that's it for this video, everyone. Thank you so much for the support, as always. As I mentioned, if you're a Stooge fan, I have over 80 videos on the Stooges, including going through every single Stooge shorts and other really fun, cool facts about the Stooges, other TV shows, other movies. So check out my channel, over 1,700 videos for you to enjoy. We'll see you all next time, and don't forget, everyone, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my supporters, especially my Diamond Tier patrons: Terry Y, Jerry D, Citizen Kane, Jennifer P, David D, Kevin K, Sally N, and Vito L. If you want to be on this patron list, go check the links in the description for a wonderful way that you can support the channel. Thank you.